Hit me!
Episode 377.
You've got to throw some cold water on this situation. Start talking about nerd stuff.
You know, nerd culture is mainstream now, so when you use the word nerd derogatorily, it means you're the one that's out of the zeitgeist.
System activate.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker. It's a tech podcast. But we are a ton cooler than your typical geek.
You guys rock.
And now, here's Will and Trent.
No one listens to the radio. I wasn't even listening. I was listening to podcasts. Podcasts are great. Radio's boring.
Oh, diggity dog, is it time? Is it time? Yes, it is, everybody. Welcome. Another edition of NetHeads. My name is Will.
My name is Trent.
No, that looks like Will again. I'm confused. Wait a second.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah. Not wearing a hat. Not wearing a hat today.
Trent, I thought we understood our roles, okay? We've always been you have to have the beard, you have to have the glasses, and you have to have the hat.
Yeah, but Will, so like, yes, and first rule of improv, I tell that to my therapist whenever I'm talking. I always interject, yes, and first rule of improv, and then he just shakes his head like, just say the thing.
We're here for your mental health. Why are you jerking me around? Why are you doing a bit right now?
I am obfuscating the root source of what we're getting to here. These headphones and the glasses and then a hat, it's too much pressure right here.
I completely understand. Because even with the in-ear monitors that I adopted a long time ago, there is a certain point where even just the existence of these things coinciding with my glasses, it causes discomfort. And I think recently I had to work remotely. Well, I always work remotely, but
right.
I had to do stuff in a hotel room.
Yeah, remotely from where you normally are based.
I was not here in this glorious and spacious space. I was doing my job, but we were away for a dance thing. Actually, if you are a Patreon subscriber, you saw the video. It's the one that confused me the most, because when I went to go do last week's May the 4th Friday Fun Day.
Yeah.
Why do I make this so complex to say? I was so confused because those shows have a separate number, so you can tell what they're different from the regular ones that you get. Because, like, as a Patreon subscriber, you also get access to the entire back catalog of NetHeads, and it's conveniently connected through Spotify. So you can even get these special shows through one delivery service, right? All you got to do is like connect this up.
Oh, it connects with the Spotify?
Yeah, exactly. Your specific exclusive Patreon stuff.
That's brilliant.
It still does the authentication. So we as the creators know it's secure and only going to those that deserve it. And, people that aren't subscribed, or if their subscription ends, they get booted the hell out. Anyway, this isn't an ad for our Patreon, goddammit, Trent. What the hell is wrong with you?
I mean, I just, you know what? ABS, always be selling, baby.
By the way, Miranda Janelle saying, Trent, you're the clever one. Will is the potato one, which I would actually disagree with, because you are what you eat.
Yeah.
And Trent, he's a spud man through and through, right?
Yep. Hands down.
Anyway,
yeah.
I was working in a hotel room, and when I do that, I have I think it's technically Logitech gamer headphones, and they completely go over the ear, and like within, I'd say 45 minutes of wearing them, I want to burn my glasses. Yep. I want them to die.
And it's crazy because, like, of all the headphones I've put on, these Audio Technica broadcast ones are by far the ones that like have the most that maintain pressure but without hurting. And even at that point, man, like, tip of the hat to anyone that can like deal with contacts, because you're opening up to an infinite amount of more everything in life.
Yeah, I can't even do contacts anymore, because when I'm sitting here in front of a monitor, I'm supposed to be wearing, as you've called them, my cheaters, Trent.
Yep.
So they got the blue light, but they make everything just a little bit bigger.
Mhm.
which actually started the degrading of my vision as far as I'm concerned, because now it's like I can't wear my regular glasses and look at my phone. When did this change happen? But then I look at you and it's like, when did that change happen? But they don't need your backstory. It's just weird to see you not wearing a hat. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. No, and you know what? It's weird to be seen not wearing a hat too, Will.
I never thought about that.
I'm feeling a little naked, a little naked.
Well, a lot more without the hair too. You see, now here's the problem with doing a podcast with your good friend. Sometimes the mouth goes a little too quick, and something you wouldn't say because it's your friend, you do say.
Yeah.
There was an entire episode, by the way, of NetHeads where I was in that mode, right? I was more about the show and the bit than I was in considering, your heart and your feelings, Trent.
Aw.
And I made a lot of bad jokes about the comic shop closing, and that is one of the very few times, might even be the only one, where I've literally gone back and altered history to make sure
Really?
well, because one, not the kind of thing that if you ever listen to it back to it, I'd want you to hear, but also two, I mean, I was just a nasty prick. I was terrible. I was horrible. I am goddamn lucky you still even talk to me.
Well, here's the thing. If I had a nickel for every time that you were a nasty prick to me, apparently I would have 5 cents.
Oh, okay. So you think it was just the one. That's nice.
I mean,
if I had a nickel
sure.
for every time it two happens, I'd have 2 nickels, but it's weird that it happened twice. As the great Dan Povenmire has said as Doofenshmirtz many times. Look, Trent, I'm so happy to have you here. I'm so thankful for you. And I have to admit that for a brief moment, I thought you were going into a Star Trek bit because you said, like, of all the headphones that I've worn, like, instantly in my head, the next thing I heard is, these are the most human.
Human.
It's a heavy emphasis on that human, isn't it? He was
human.
That was a choice, okay? It wasn't so much him being caught up in the actual moment. It was just
such a choice. It was such a choice. Like, he knew it going into it. He's like, pause, 2, 3, 4, human.
But don't even say the word. Let's make sure we grunt it out like it farted on our best suit. All right? It's just like human. And it was almost maybe that he didn't want to say, look, it doesn't matter. That's what I thought you were about to say, which has absolutely nothing to do with the show. But I really thought for a brief moment you might want a little bit of insight into what my broken brain does.
Yep.
I mean?
Just like, yep.
By the way, speaking of broken brain, I have to tell you that I don't want to get into names and I don't want to get into details, okay? But let's just say that much in the same way that occasionally I co-host this show with someone else and step out on you.
It's okay. Daddy's not mad.
Well, I'm good. First of all, not calling you daddy. That's not happening, pal. No. But look, I'll just say it. But on another platform, I tried a product. Now, I'm not saying it's bad. Okay, I want to emphasize that. I think it's an interesting thing to attempt, and it's something that had some different mushrooms in it. Okay. No.
Okay.
Okay. Wait.
Sure.
Hold on.
Hey, you do you. We're in a whole new world of microdosing and of mental well-being. I say you do you, my friend.
Allow me to rephrase.
Okay.
I had another product that had lion's mane and stuff in it. Like that's in another product I don't want to talk about right now.
Yeah. So not like psilocybin mushroom stuff, but like actual like fungi that you eat because of other things.
The other benefits it does.
It does for the body. Yeah.
Terms that you will hear later, like nootropics and littering and smoking the reefer, adaptogens. Okay, there we go. Adaptogens. I don't know why I slipped into what was the name? Super Troopers, but I did.
Super Troopers. Yep.
That was literally me playing to an audience of one right now, because I'm telling you right now, ZB, any second in the chat is going to speak up to the reference of littering and smoking the reefer. Randy Chang joining us. By the way, in the chat, if you ever catch the show live, guys, you can always reliably catch it on YouTube. That seems to be the most interactive place, because there used to be an entire bit. It's like, hi, my name is Will.
My name's Trent.
And if you want to take part in the program, you can. One of ways, such as Trent.
Yeah, just get in the chats, or use hashtag NetHeads on the social medias.
Yes, that's what we used to say. But now,
Yes.
realistically speaking, if you can still do that because let me tell you something. I used to love Twitter. Okay.
Oh, here we go. I'm with you.
Trent,
I'm with you.
I used to love Twitter. Municipalities, okay, and safety programs and weather alerts were able to utilize Twitter.
Yep.
As an instant notification system. I mean, people became reliant on it. Good comedy was there. Today I went to go promote our show, as I always do, Trent. I almost obviously,
Sure.
unless I'm tired and maybe, sometimes you just like, oh, fuck it, we'll just put up the plain graphic. I don't care. When you have those days, maybe the promotion isn't as heavy. And I really, I think we could both agree that I probably put in just slightly above the minimal requirements to be considered social media promotion, right?
Sure. I mean, you're not. It's not a paid advert.
No,
least,
definitely
right?
not. But when I'm
Yeah.
trying to say that we're going to be live, I do
Right.
at least something. So if you're listening back to this still as a podcast, which by the way, even Ralph Garman recently admitted, I suddenly realized there are some people that truly like to watch podcasts.
Mhm.
Okay. So, and I don't know if they like our particular way of doing it, if they're maybe used to their Rogans or their
Right.
Mark, what can I remember his last name? I stood on a goddamn stage with him and he interviewed a president of the goddamn United States. Mark Maron. Mark Maron.
Yep.
Yes, I accepted an award from him at the at I think one of the only three podcast awards from the service that no longer even exists anymore, that originally partnered with Smodco Internet Radio, Stitcher. Anyway,
Right. Yeah.
why the hell am I talking about Stitcher? Why are you letting me go on like this?
I love Stitcher though. I like it. It really was such a great. Is it still a thing?
Nope. Shut down completely. It got bought, resold, passed around
Yeah,
like a bad
it was
joint.
like a bunch of different times. Yeah, and there was to like international like tech companies too. It was like it's too bad because it had a lot going for it.
Randy Chang in the chat is bringing up where I'm going with this. Twitter is broken, okay? And he says in the chat, thank you for continuing to call it Twitter and not that X bullshit. Actually, you can credit this guy for that, because as long as the domain works, we're going to call it Twitter. But that's part of the way it's really freaking broken right now, Trent, because when I go to promote the show, I first will send a post from the official account. This all sounds, look, I'm not telling you to go to the account, please. This isn't an ad. I'm just trying to make a point, but boy, it sounds like I'm just selling it all the time. It's like he had good time reading these ads, and then suddenly that's became all he did. I mean, he'd buy something on Amazon, and then he spends 20 minutes telling us why we need to buy it, and he's not even making money. He's got a problem. We need to intervene.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I was going to promote the show on Twitter, and what I always do is I first go to the official account for the podcast, and I create that, and then I have access to other accounts, like my own personal one, and I'll retweet it and like it, and we still are officially a podcast that's part of a podcast network called the Smodco Internet Productions, Smodcast Network. We're part of that, so that account, Smodcast Network, will retweet as a way of announcing without it officially announcing. And so there's three accounts there, just three. I'm already over the fact they completely screwed over TweetDeck. I've put it behind me.
Oh gosh, yeah.
However,
I know.
Now it's starting to do. We already talked once about how they started automatically replacing Twitter.com with X.com, and that led to many problems, potential problems, security flaws. Now it keeps flip-flopping on me between being on X.com or being on Twitter.com. And get this, I mean, from a technical standpoint, I think we would both agree I at least have enough bona fides to say that I am an IT professional. We can definitely say that.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. And a domain professional for like long before we were doing NetHeads. You were purchasing and sitting on to this day some high like valued domains.
Yes, I get to work with them, and but this isn't about me bragging about my internet bona fides as well. But look, I at least understand how things work, and there's certain conclusions you can make just by thinking them out simply. Okay, so I go to do the post, and now they've got me trained because again, I've put TweetDeck behind me. God, I used to love it. Now, go spit. With X, I go there and I'm on the domain and I'm in my account, so I click the 3 dots down here because I'm doing it. There's this thing called the computer kids that people sometimes still sit in front of, and the Gen Xers and even some of the millennials will they'll prefer to do things because they didn't grow up with these gadgets in the middle of your hand,
Or their thumbs are just too thick to use these mobile devices.
Don't even get me started on the fact that somehow I have gotten worse and worse at typing on an iPhone or a smart device. I don't even know how that skill can degrade.
I can't freaking do it.
I can't. I mean, there are literally people that I chat with on a regular basis that absolutely positively have to know when I'm on a desktop versus when I'm on my phone.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
By the way, ZB doing a major callback. One of them was he thought ratemypot.com, but no. Way back in the day when I was just doing stupid stuff, I had bought, there was a really horrible website that was hotornot.com, and you could put your picture on it, and people would either say you're hot or you're not, right?
Oh, dude, I actually invented a gambling game in high school based off of Otter.com.
Yeah, that is, and that really is, it was not, look, there was a lot of dark times on the internet, kids, and this was one of them. However, I thought of a funny thing that I thought would go along well as a companion part of it. So much so, it became part of a radio bit on a radio show that was doing outrageous programming, but it was all scripted, or it was all improv. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So it
way
was
better.
It was coming in like the kind of like the Maury Povich on radio. Not the early one, okay? Not the later one. No DNA was being anyway.
Yep. This is when it was when he was doing more. Yes, I know what you mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Early on, he was trying to do serious stuff. It was like Jerry Springer first season. Boy, I'm really dating myself.
Yeah. When he was Maury Povich, husband of Connie Chung, not Maury Povich, DNA guy.
Yeah. We've now officially wasted 3 minutes for me just to say the words potornot.com, where people could upload pictures of their dank, if you will, and or you could post whatever else you wanted, which, I mean, the dangerous door I opened on the internet with that, because the whole thing is you're supposed to rate if it's pot or not. And innocent, sweet-minded me is like, well, somebody might upload a picture of a ficus. And
or some oregano.
Yeah, but no, I the potential for just dick pic distribution.
Yeah,
I'm surprised. Yeah. I'm sure there is somebody who's just finally now, thanks to AI combing through everything, the transcripts of everything we're saying,
they've ever
suddenly their match they've been waiting for 15 years. They're finding the person behind this, and they've got some trauma to settle.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You're gonna get a knock on the door.
Okay. Now, believe it or not, we're still just trying to talk about me posting to social media. Okay.
Oh yeah. Wait.
I know that was 40 steps back. Everyone's going like, but what about the popcorn bucket? We'll get to it. Okay.
No, but I feel like before, where did the mushrooms? Like, we didn't finish that yet either. Right?
Yeah, probably not. Look, the whole point is I tried it, not so good. I drank my magic mine before my walk, and I was great. No, I did. I have said those words. So yes, we did actually close that one up. This
Yeah.
is just two guys at the end of the day that they're tired. And for some reason, they're thinking, hey, you know what we should really do? Let's sit down and attempt to communicate with one another. That's a great idea.
It's like we're just cattle being herded up and put through the motions at this point.
My goodness, the train is so far off the rails where it's like we're in the middle of that Polar Express movie. Another obscure reference. Thanks for that, Will. Look, I was going to do the post. I clicked the little 3 dots, and there was just my personal account. Remember, because I was talking about I had 3 different
Right.
domains.
Yeah.
So instantly I know, and literally my mind just finally connected to where the hell was this story going? I mean, seriously, I'm not gonna lie, man.
We just saw like the light bulb actually just populate above your head.
We can go back and play this, and we can see the moment of recognition. Probably, it looks like just the tiniest, almost imperceptible look of utter relief and joy. Okay, go back and look for that later. I don't know what it looks like, but it's just going to be like, or actually relief is what it is. It's like a momentary recognition of relief because I realize I'm not going to have to fill anymore before trying to get to what this story was, which you may think I've just spent the last minute doing, but I'm not. I don't know what's happening tonight. Look, I clicked the 3 dots. I knew it meant I was only logged into one account, and suddenly I realize I'm on X.com. I kid you not. I changed the X to Twitter. Refreshes. Looks like the exact same thing, but I click the 3 dots. I'm in all 3 accounts.
What?
There is dual authentication going on, which to me is the utmost terrifying thing because we're talking about password files synchronizing between potentially different servers. Hopefully it's just a shitty level of code that's letting the two kind of coexist with one another, but it ain't good.
So it's almost like because that was kind of the benefit of TweetDeck, right? Is that you could work within the different accounts that you had set up. I wonder if it's trying to like amalgamate. That's weird.
It's
that's
just
really weird.
Clearly it's 2 authentication systems working hand in hand, which from a security perspective sounds terrifying. Hopefully the firewalls are great, but let's just say Musk hasn't exactly been known for his wonderful employee relation programs.
Oh, yeah.
So, who knows? They probably still don't even have HR. So anyway, I had some frustrations with the Twitter being broken, but if you want to run that all back even more, it used to be we said hashtag NetHeads on Twitter. That, believe it or not, that entire journey was just trying to encourage people to be in the chat.
Yep. Yeah, just use the chat now.
To encourage them to interact with the program.
Use the chat now.
I took 20 minutes to get there. That's it. We're done. Guys, I've been wondering if we were documenting the absolute de-evolution of a podcast, seeing it from glory to death. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I've heard 2 gongs at least, Trent. The bell's ringing. Anyway, if you want to interact, the YouTube seems to be the most popular.
Yes. Yeah,
YouTube. Oh my God. I give up. We are done.
Now, independent of where anyone might be chatting, you are able to see it, correct?
Yeah, technically speaking, I think the only one that may not pop up is X Twitter. The others, because technically,
fuck that, as we just spent 20 minutes trying to articulate.
Randy Chang, by the way, is he's saying I'd like to take credit for derailing this. You are, sir. You are.
Oh, hi, Randy.
I hereby dub thee officially this episode the derailer.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Hi,
Randy.
Wield your. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, please. While
I'm
you're
just
on
saying hi, Randy. Yeah. Hi, man.
Wield your power responsibly. Don't do it again. Anyway, Trent, the whole reason why we're actually here to talk tonight, other than to talk about the wondrous things that may or may not be going on in our own personal lives, or like glue sticking robots or whatever, something big. Now, look, I don't have examples because it would have taken a lot more preparation. However, we've already talked about on this show the fact that the reason why Ryan Reynolds has so much money is because he realizes that he is very, very marketable, okay? a company says, we will spend you $3 million. We want to pay you $3 million to be our official spokesperson. And he says, okay, well, wait a second. If you're willing to spend that kind of money, what is this product you have? And instead, he invests in it. He becomes the advertising division, the ad agency overall. They pump it because you can tell there is a Ryan Reynolds approach and brand that exists in every product he has advertised, and then eventually sold the company and made even more money than
off of it.
Yeah, than the chump change he would have made. I think Kevin Feige may have realized, you know what, we've got a really easy go with this, guys. And from what he did at CinemaCon, blurting out the F word 3 times on stage because of his excitement that it was the first R-rated Marvel movie, Deadpool, officially in the MCU. I think, he realized look, let's let Reynolds pitch some ideas, and as long as it's not going to get us sued, I think obviously we've been having some box office issues, so let's make sure we're making hay while the sun shines. And Ryan Reynolds will probably bring that because I don't know if everybody remembers, but he also personally orchestrated, though never claimed responsibility for the leaking of Deadpool footage, test footage.
Yep.
So we could see what an on-screen Deadpool.
Deadpool. Yeah.
What an on-screen Deadpool could be like. And the internet lost its shit.
Yeah.
Collectively.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously the guy is passionate about the project. Earlier in the year, Dune 2 came out, Trent. We've probably spoken of this as well.
Yeah. Yes, it did.
The first, and pardon me, I don't usually like to really work blue. However, I think we should just kind of call a rose in this case.
Yeah,
and
call an
saw,
Arthur an Arthur.
Yeah, when we all saw the Sandworm Popcorn Bucket, everybody collectively on the internet probably had the exact same thought, Trent. And that thought is, somebody's going to fuck that.
Yeah, and in fact, Will, for those who frequent certain adult websites that rhyme with Orange Schnub,
Cornhub, yes,
all
about Corn City,
yes,
USA, where I live.
There were quite a few parodies and actual demonstrations made on that site for those who were able to get said popcorn fuckery devices.
And if you don't know what we're talking about what essentially comes down to something that looked like a very wide anus. That's really what it was. I mean, come on. You can't call it anything else.
It looked very toit, to use the vernacular.
I mean, it looked terrifying to me. I mean, I'm just like, look, somebody might, but you're risking harm, okay? You're risking harm.
That and like, let's be honest, like, to cover a popcorn mouth is pretty big. Like you've got to like feel like pretty generous or have a lot of self-confidence to think that that's gonna like do anything.
I got it.
Like,
I understand now. I completely agree. By the way, Miranda Janelle also thinking what my second thought was when I saw it is I thought it was the Sarlacc pit.
No, it does. It totally does look like the Sarlacc pit.
Thank
it's
you
exactly
very much.
what.
Oh, by the way, I recently saw a clip streaming through the social medias. It was Patton Oswalt on, I think, Jimmy Kimmel. Okay, and he even said that Favreau told him after the fact that if you start with his filibuster from Parks and Recreation, from the moment the twin sons are in the frame and it pans down to the Sarlacc pit, and from the hand, a glove of the feared bounty hunter Boba Fett breaks from the sand and he pulls himself free and we all realize he is still alive. If you start that filibuster from Parks and Rec at the same moment that the show Book of Boba Fett opens, when we're seeing him come out, it times out exactly. And they did it on purpose. Do you know how much that warms my nerd heart? My Star Wars loving heart? I came up in the goddamn day where Star Wars was right in the middle of the story, not this candy ass crap that you guys got called the prequels.
Oh, dude, and Gen Z, they love their prequels.
I'm
like,
not going to mess with it because
they
everybody's Star Wars
love
is
it.
just everybody's Star Wars. There are people that have no clue of any of the other movies, and their Star
Right.
Wars are Phantom Menace, The Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker, and that's fine. Look, man,
Sure.
Star Wars is for the kids of the age that it comes out. Really, it's just us adults
Yeah.
that cling to it.
That's
Anyway,
true.
seeing that, hearing that really warmed my heart because one of the biggest things that happened after that episode came out was the fact that getting your hands on the footage of the entire rant, because they just let him keep going.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, because that was
I mean,
more or less improv, right? Because there were even outtakes of other things that he tried in that space, and that was what they went with was like this long Star Wars thing.
yeah, I'm not actually sure. I don't know in full detail, but I know there was one version that was about at least 7 minutes long. And technically speaking, I think the guy predicted the end of Endgame too. I'm not so sure in that filibuster.
You're right. Yeah, because that's how he like swings it back around at the very end.
Yeah,
right?
I think because it's like
yeah.
the only thing Endgame was missing was Star Wars bursting through.
Yeah.
But technically speaking, Multiverse of Madness even finally incorporates that moment, because when he and America are just like going through realities because she has transported them along in one moment, okay, for one brief moment, you see Mustafar, where Vader's
Okay.
you know, basically his back to tank and dark
Yeah.
ass weird castle. You momentarily see that. So in his in Patton Oswalt's diatribe, he had even said it was like bringing everything together because it was Star Wars and Marvel and
Gotcha.
everything. So not really
Gotcha.
Endgame, but you know, thanks for taking that ride with me. Anyway, they're smart enough to know that Ryan Reynolds will make them money, and they haven't been doing so hot. So all of their eggs are in one basket, and they want to make sure it's a giant basket, Trent.
Yep. Well, and on like they have the benefit finally to be using a property that has heretofore not been Disney qualified. It's been under a different distro, and so now they can bring that into the fold as it is with under X-Men universe stuffs, and the highest the best selling or best grossing X-Men stuff has been the more edgy stuff, the Wolverine stuff, the rated R stuff.
Dude, Logan was insane.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Anyway, so they realized there was some money to be made, and I think it was at CinemaCon that Ryan Reynolds had said something along the lines of, if you thought the Dune bucket was something,
God.
just wait. And at the time, we saw some fakes on the internet. As a matter of
Yeah.
fact,
Exactly. Yeah.
there is a guy I
Yeah.
follow on the Tiki Tac who is Stephen the Lightspeed, and he actually did multicolor 3D printable versions of those ones that we had seen, which essentially made it look like it was the mask of either character, and then there was a mouth at the bottom of the popcorn bucket. And we knew that they weren't for real, but we really, really were excited by that. Trent, he didn't lie, because clearly this thing looked at the Dune bucket and it said, "Hold my beer." I gotta turn down the volume because it's really loud. There we go. Now we can talk over it. And just I mean, I look, I want to believe it's Ryan Reynolds caressing this thing. And then you see this. I mean, it is just... And now, first of all, unlike the Dune bucket, it makes sense. It is a large hole you can pull popcorn out through. It's not going to fight you to hold it. But then, there is the finishing touch that happens, which is, you know, you just can't have popcorn without the butter.
I mean, at least try to get it in the mouth, though. I mean, that's just
a
a full-on
courtesy,
facial,
right?
That's just a full-on facial. Everyone's got to clean up after that.
Miranda Janelle pointing out that is definitely not a Sarlacc pit. No.
Well, so can you go back and show just the very opening shot? I just want to show something here.
Yeah.
Now look at the size of the mouth. This is where I'm talking about, where you've got
Look
to
at
like
that tongue.
very, and now to his hand, right? You can see how big, right? the mouth is huge.
Oh yeah, it's coming up right here. He's gonna tap it on the nose.
Yeah, look at that.
Well, but yeah,
The
because
mouth.
it's got a.
It's popcorn.
It's
a bucket. It's an XL size of popcorn. It would. It is. This is not Fleshlight scaled, folks.
If you thought, as Trent was alluding to before, if you thought you had some confidence with the Dune bucket,
yes,
you gotta.
Yes,
I don't want to
yeah.
say. I don't want to go any further than that.
Hey, I'm just saying, if you can fill it, fill it.
I've never been more creeped out than I am right now. Even though my next joke was going to be, I'm just not used to the popcorn bucket with the hole on that side.
I'll dick in the box.
There you go. I'll allow it. Thank you for that. Anyway, I mean, honestly speaking, it is just every bit genius. And as Tony, Mr. Marvelite, who also sometimes co-hosts, like he probably will be next week, as he pointed out, that, you know, this is just another way that they are re-emphasizing this is not a kid's movie. Do not bring your children to this rated R film unless you are a very, very bad parent.
It was, as a comic book salesman, it was, and I've talked about this before here, so I apologize, but it is to reiterate, like, it was, so many parents came in, hey, my kid wanted this Deadpool character. I'm like, no, they might want it, but don't give it to them, please. Give them this instead. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, this isn't the conversation you want to have. I mean, were you guys at church yesterday? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You don't want your kid to have this comic.
Nope.
Yeah, they're definitely putting it out on Front Street that this is not a kid's movie, and they are fully embracing it. And I think it is just, honestly speaking, I think it's excellent. I'm not going to buy one, Trent. I am not.
Really?
No, I don't think. I mean, maybe. Look, I got 2 of these goddamn Ant-Man helmets, and I don't even really want the one. I mean,
well, and I wonder if it's just a lid, or if it's an actual cup. Because if it's the lid, that's an even more marketable thing. Because like,
oh, you definitely. I'm telling you right now, that is a separate lid that pops on.
Okay.
So you get the bucket, which also has scrawled in it, and if this is the real bucket too, designed by Deadpool. I swear to God, next time I say Daredevil, kick me in the nads, okay?
I will break a Chromebook over your head the next time it happens.
Goddamn right. Which, by the way, appears to be a crutch that I keep leaning on. I've been hearing goddamn right a lot in the show. And again, too, I really think, and I hope and I pray Ryan Reynolds not only had a lot to do with this, but I hope it's his hand in the commercial. And it was his social media that this dropped on. Boop. Yeah, it was his social media that released all this.
Right. Yeah.
Others may have co-opted it, but I'm probably going to get one. But it's really an awkward conversation piece. It's not like the Ant-Man helmet that's down there. It's not like that.
It's not one that you bring out for movie night with the in-laws.
Definitely not. That is not appropriate. Don't do that. Especially, if your father-in-law looks at it a certain way, that's conversations you don't want to have either.
Yeah. And then it disappears for a little bit.
Where'd the popcorn bucket go? How'd it come back cleaned? That's weird. Anyway, hats off to them for essentially, which, by the way, I just gotta say, Trent, hell of a day to drop this on. I mean, I'm sure they didn't wake up in the morning thinking, you know what? I bet you something really big in no way is gonna drop about, 6 or 7 hours after this in the news cycle.
Mm-hmm. That will then just kind of consume everything.
Yeah, I am. Look, all I can say is my heart also goes out to him because what I'm really hoping is that somehow this comes out on top. And okay, I just heard what I said. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that, but it sounded that way.
Well, I mean,
I swear to God, you take off your hat and everything goes to hell. Okay?
We saw where it came out on, Will. It was on its face.
We've already discussed this. Not even a courtesy tap. What the hell? Trent, I have to tell you something. People may notice, other than being extremely weird, I am, for a 50-something-year-old guy at almost 8 p.m. my time, I'm definitely bringing a certain level of energy, wouldn't you think?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a youth and vigor that is palpable.
And I alluded to it before. Part of the reason for that, and I am super excited, today is my favorite day because in the mail via the USPS, I received the incredibly designed box that does presentation in a really cool and classy way all throughout the packaging. The box itself is part of the packaging because it
Okay.
opens up and you see all the branding and positive messages and all of the great things. What I'm saying is I received my new 15-pack of Magic Mind today.
Ooh.
And I've talked about Magic Mind before, and a lot of people, I think like one of the things that they originally were saying is that, you know, this is maybe a coffee replacement or a coffee enhancer because it also, it has a lot of things that, and I was recently in a conversation with my coworker because I also recently suffered a concussion. And, you know, look, I'm going to be completely honest, man. I'm still having problems remembering some things. Okay.
It's
I'm hoping that's I'm hoping that's related is all I'm saying, actually.
right.
Given my age, that, you know, now I'm thinking, oh, maybe I should be concerned about some other things. And one of the things that came up is I was asked, well, have you tried any nootropics? And amazingly, I could have said, yes, I can. Or I said, yes, I do. Because every morning before I even have my coffee, the first thing I now do that I have not been able to do in 2 years is I get up early in the morning and the first thing I do is I walk my dog, Benjamin. And do you know why that is? Because when I stagger into or out of bed, one of the very first things I do in the morning is I take a shot of Magic Mind. And even on the days where it's like I don't want to do this. Well, first of all, it's a miracle I'm up as early as I am. That in itself is an absolute miracle because again, haven't been able to do it in 2 years. But then do the shot of Magic Mind, get the socks on, the proper shorts, the ridiculously oversized brimmed hat because I'm old and scared of skin cancer.
As you should be.
I am, you know, I used to be this old for the brim size. And I got to get the hands right. Now I'm this old for the brim size. I'm like, I want to make sure no sun comes out of here. I was super excited because from a Disneyland trip, Trent, my daughter said, Dad, I want you to wear your Indiana Jones hat like you did last time. And I'm like, God damn right, because even if I'm going to sweat through that bitch, I'm going to have a gigantic brim on it that's going to protect my neck.
Yep. The problem is though, if your brim gets too wide, if you're out on a walk, you might get stopped and asked to do some work.
Yeah, definitely. So watch out for that. But anyway, I do all that. And by the time I've got my shoes on and we're going out the door, there's already a little bit of a pep in my step. And it's on those days, the Magic Mind mornings, that I not only have that little bit of extra motivation and energy, might be from the matcha green tea that they have in there for caffeine and a good clean energy source. Maybe it's because of the lion's mane mushroom that helps improve cognition. Well, some of those adaptogens and nootropics, Trent. Are you hearing what I'm dropping?
Well, I mean, I have yet to dip my tongue into the waters of the Magic Mind, but I hear it's like an orgasm for your mind.
Let me once again tell you how I just got a brand new box and you don't have crap. I'm so courteous. Not only do I have good energy and attitude on those days, possibly because of those things, possibly because the cordyceps mushrooms that are in there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they got the cordyceps in there. Those two are for energy, and I think they provide some focus too. You know what? It's all mixed together, and it provides focus, it provides energy, and for me, I swear, better cognition, because even though I might be having problems remembering some things, I'm not having an issue at all remembering new things, and it's all because those mornings, I not only have that energy, it really carries me, I don't want to say throughout the day with an energy level, because honest to God, before we started the podcast, I could have just laid down and taken a nap, all right?
Yeah,
But I've got energy and focus where I need it. I mean, look, I know I spent 20 minutes trying to tell people to go to the chat earlier, but believe it or not, considering I was able to get us from point A to point Z and all the way back,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's because of the magic mind. Now, look,
Well,
listen.
and-
Go ahead, Trent.
No, I was just gonna say, and at least from what I've gleaned from your experience, what
Because you won't
just
send me any, Will. I get it.
objectively looking at it, I feel like, I mean, as much as you do love coffee, you no longer wear like a handcuff or are not handcuffed to just that next cup.
Look, man,
right?
I'm telling you right now, my weekends are the hardest because I don't use it on the weekends because I want it for the days I'm working.
Yeah,
Okay?
you're rationing.
And those are coffee only days, and I'm telling you right now, it hits different, bro. It hits different.
Yeah.
All you got to do, guys, is go to magicmind.com/netheads. I said / again. I'm so disappointed in myself. I want to die now.
/
It's netheads20, magicmind.com/netheads20.
Yeah.
Or if you just go to magicmind.com, you can use the offer code netheads20. Why is it 20, Trent? Because you can save up to 20% off of your first purchase. Or, and this is the thing I would recommend, me personally, especially since, I don't know if you know this, Trent, Magic Mind also qualifies for your FSA and your HSA accounts.
Oh, dude. And folks, big reminder here. Tomorrow's the 31st. Last day you can, for most places, you can amend your benefits packages for the coming fiscal year. So get that HSA set up and then drop it on this if you want to.
Because then you're getting it not only that money is tax-free, baby.
Tax-free.
You help reduce your primary income, hopefully lowering your taxes and giving yourself the beauty of the magic mind.
Yep.
Because instead you decided to use NetHeads 20 to get 56% off your first subscription. Look.
Oh, shit.
I know, man. Look, you're sitting there going, Will, you're running high on the magic mind. Obviously, you got this big supply, Mr. Moneybags, bringing it all in and never sharing it with me. It's true, but there is nothing like that feeling when you're getting low for that 15-day supply to come in. And if you're not rationing it out like me, it's coming right on time, if you know what I'm saying. So you get 56% off. Now, Trent, I don't know, what's more, 20% off or 56% off? Look,
even with my basic maths, I would say the latter is greater than sign.
Okay, yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, Trent. Like, okay, let's work it out this way, okay? I think I can figure this out, okay? So let's see now. 20 goes into 105 times. So I'm taking 1/5 of the amount off of that 100, if I were to say. I'm not saying Magic Mind is $100, but anyway, that's well, it's 20%. Never mind. Obviously, we shouldn't have gone into math. The whole point is,
shit.
Even if you look at 20 and you look at 56, you know that 56 is more. And if it's a discount, it's going to be a larger discount. That just completely was embarrassingly falling apart. Obviously, the Magic Mind is leaving me, but if you do have Magic Mind, you won't have moments like that. Or you'll have the cognitive abilities to identify the fact that you are about to embarrass the hell out of yourself. Pull the ripcord now and listen. Yeah, so again, magicmind.com/netheads20 or use netheads20 to get 20% off your first purchase or 56% off a subscription. I can't tell you any more than that. Just do it, all right? Come on. Help support the show and help support yourself, especially if you can get it tax-free. That's free money from Uncle Sam.
Yeah, that HSA thing is actually kind of a big deal. As I'm going through and setting mine up for the upcoming year, I'd like. Yeah, and you make a really good point too, Will. The whole cutting of like the gross income is a huge thing, so you're going to be paying less taxes on it in general.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, look, I know you never came to NetHeads for fiscal advice, but you know, sometimes a nugget of wisdom will pass, and we'll pass it on to you. Let me pass
nugget.
Well, you know, part of the thing is, and this is, look, I don't want to get political, okay? Actually, I'm probably just going to sound paranoid, is more to the point. I'm probably going to start to sound paranoid. But, you know, with everything that's going on in the world, I have certain questions because we had a global pandemic, we had then global inflation, right, Trent?
Right. Correct.
Now, a lot of people may not be aware of this because the way the media works now is it's less about being informative and it's more about getting the clicks. Okay?
Yep.
So
It's
much so,
infotainment.
so much so that recently the New York Times had been running polls showing where the current presidential race is. And eventually they had to include a disclaimer, a little asterisk that said, you know, that their population for this poll was among unlikely or unregistered voters.
Right. Yeah, it's a free for all. Anyone that there was no qualification for who was participating.
Yeah. So, you don't do that because you think that is a realistic view of what the way the world is. You do that because it's going to allow you to generate a headline to get a click.
Yep.
And then I started thinking about, okay, well, the way the political landscape tends to go, corporations prefer when the White House is red and not blue. Is that an accurate statement?
Yeah.
All the big, because, you know, hey, they made corporations people
Yep.
and
Yep.
and you know, Trump's tax cuts, they stayed for the rich and then went away for
Correct.
the middle of the road and below.
Mhm.
So I start to think to myself, we've had a situation where a lot of people have said that we've got inflation and we've got basically price gouging, okay?
Yes.
And in that case, I start to think, even though the U.S., you may not know about this, is actually, it's one of the places that is coping with global inflation the best, even though you may not have that personal perception. So I start to wonder if they would prefer the White House to be red than blue. Do you think there's any possible way that they're not only lining their pockets with our money, but they're doing it in a way to where they can create negative feelings for the current administration?
Yep.
And very subtly manipulate the population.
Yep.
Okay. That's just the thought I wanted to put out there because it came to me. And I'm just
100%.
like, one day I'm just
Yeah.
sitting here going, God damn it, it is all about the sneeches, isn't it? It's the haves and the have-nots.
Yeah.
That wonderful insight and paranoia brought to you by tinfoil hats.
Bonk.
You know, it's just, look, a lot's gone on and it's mystifying in a way because I do in my day-to-day work speak with people in many different countries, okay, different parts of the world. So it's very interesting to see how we are in America, because you are in Utah, I am in California, both, last time I checked, states in these united of, right?
One's blood red, the other kind of purple.
Yeah, it takes some interesting twists and turns depending on the county you're in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started to get a little, I don't know, man, because look, I understand the A's and the B's of how things work, but you know, you get the terrifying thought that, wow, you know, I just thought about this. Grades basically preschool through age 12 conditioned me to realize that I can sit in a classroom, I can do something at somebody else's direction for 8 hours and I can produce work while I'm doing it.
Yep.
Right? And
Yep.
then if I wanted to further my career and my education, I could demonstrate that as a functional adult, I made the choice to indoctrinate myself in spending time and effort to produce work while paying money to do it as well, right?
Yep.
And it's just like, has the whole thing just been an indoctrination and a building of middle America?
I mean, you're not wrong. Especially, there are some very interesting graphs that have tracked the wealth of the top 1% and how from the pandemic until now has been their greatest increase. It's almost like a vertical line that goes nearly straight up over the past century. They have earned more post pandemic until now than all the past 100 years prior before. It just went boom, straight up. So when you think about where everyone else is at, and for those of us in the lower echelon might feel like, that's I guess I know where because value is always the same. It's just a matter of where it's allocated at any one time, and that's where it's at right now.
Huh. Look, I'm not saying we're going to start a revolution on our silly little podcast.
Hey, entropy affects all things, and even in economies. If you don't believe me, just look what happened with King Louis and the French Revolution. Like, there comes a time where people have enough, and things will break down.
Well, hopefully not because of what's going on in ways I could not horrifically imagine. Wow, that took a turn that I was not expecting. I apologize, everyone. I didn't mean to go so geopolitical, philosophical paranoia, but
Right.
sometimes when you have these realizations, man, you just need to let them out. Plus, we were talking about, basically screwing a popcorn bucket not long ago. You got to have some yin with the yang, right? You got to blend it in.
Exactly.
But Trent, I have to tell you that have you been tracking the tech news at all?
Not really. Maybe, I don't know.
Wait a minute, man.
Like, what do we? Is there something that I'm being led into here? I don't know. Maybe I should.
No, I'm not messing with you in that regard. I'm not meaning to screw with you, but I was just wondering if there was any tech news that you had stumbled on that you were interested to. I'm still reeling, however, from the fact that what if Marvel's putting together a basically choose your own adventure in a VR session for the program What If, and it's just going to be on Apple's Vision Pro system or whatever it's called.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to be one of those people then.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm still reeling from that. But the other thing that really messed me up is, I guess apparently the good folks at Meta, who own both Instagram and Facebook, they have had a partnership for a while with Ray-Ban for smart glasses. And I know some of you may be saying, Will, we are absolutely amazed as the schmuck that wore Google Glass for so long, and for some reason also bought the Amazon frames. Why haven't we heard about your experience with them? Look, guys, I'm trying. Plus, apparently now I put all my money into robots. But I was very interested to find out recently that the partnership not only is continuing, but now apparently they're at the point where you could post directly to Instagram. And my very first thought was that wasn't in the basic functionality.
Yeah, especially when you're the ones developing it, that's your bread and butter.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of understand, but as they were supposed to function anyway, they'd be pairing with your phone. I mean, even Google Glass could post to Facebook for me, right? So,
Totally.
I was a little bit shocked like that.
And also to Okert, and what was the other Google Plus? Remember Google Plus?
Oh my gosh, was that the social network?
Yep.
Which, by the way, still one of the greatest ideas that never caught on, because you were able to tailor all of your social media so that way you could very easily and visually organize, so that way you only shared certain content with certain people.
Right. No, it was great. You could, and you built these circles that were curated as to relevance of interests or whatever you want. Yeah, it was so smart.
Right. And the reason why it didn't carry on, Trent, not only because it was, the big perceived alphabet Google evilness, but also because you were able to control your information too well, and they wouldn't be able to catalog it.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. And you can't make money off that.
No, you definitely cannot, because when you get a service for free, you folks are the actual product. Remember that.
Yep.
If you remember nothing else from this episode, because God knows I sure don't. It has been too much of a roller coaster, Trent. And look, man, I am punch drunk from today's news. There's no other way to put it. I am just it's too goddamn much. It was like finding out we were going into lockdown for the pandemic for me.
It's like 36 times too much.
No, I think you mean 34, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah, 34. Sorry.
I mean, it's just enough's
I was just hoping for 37.
Too much news for one day. Can we at least space it out a day? Because the popcorn, I really wanted to ride that popcorn bucket high.
Yep.
And instead, I don't even know if I'm going to go to the Google News right now, because of course every bit of information I also take in is curated. So these paranoid ideas I have, I'm sure aren't even mine, because the crazy box that I'm addicted to keeps feeding me the signals, Trent. I'm pretty goddamn sure.
Yeah, you just got to do it.
I'm looking. So, yep, look, picks for you on the right-hand side within the second third of the page. I scroll down. The official Deadpool and Wolverine bucket is here at last, which is the best headline version I've seen on it.
Mhm.
Other ones I have seen have called it being naughty or adult or what have you. But that's it. It's only in the picks for me. So it already has been dethroned or derailed or deemed too naughty, Trent. I don't know which one. Hey, what's going on in your life, man? Let's get some plugs in for you before we end this nonsense.
Gosh, I just not a whole lot, man. Just upcoming show. If anyone's in the Salt Lake area, next not this Saturday, but the coming Saturday will be another professional wrestling show in Salt Lake City. Go to Devotion Wrestling, Devotion Championship Wrestling on the social medias, and you'll find it.
There we go. And hey, guys, and I believe if I'm doing the math correctly, which I know is a scary endeavor just a few moments ago, but I believe you're talking about the Infamous Day of Saturday, June 8th.
Oh,
Because you said not
yes.
this Saturday, next Saturday. This
Yes.
Saturday is
Yeah.
the first.
Yeah.
The next Saturday
Yep.
is the 8th.
Yep. Yep. That's right.
Which, by the way, also I'm hoping is a weekend because there's been some work that needs to be done somewhere. And I was hoping to combine it with that date, even though it is the day the dogs are supposed to go to the groomer because I am a bougie bitch.
No. It's important. If like for this is empirical evidence of the more there is correlation between how much you keep your dogs clean, as into allergies and allergens within the home. So like don't skimp on those grooming appointments.
Trent, I've got 3 fluffy dogs. I got 2
Yep.
Samoyeds, which if you guys haven't seen them, just Google Samoyed, okay? If you're thinking fluffy white dog, that's what I've got. They've got 2 coats, and when they blow a coat, there is forever. You beg for a groomer because they help thatch it out. You know what I'm saying? They help clear the way.
You end up with butter with hair in your butter. It's just there's no escape from it.
It's everywhere. It's just like, oh my God, I just put on my glasses. What's tickling my nose? I was looking at my beverage cup and it had 2 different types of hair all over it. Both of them dog, because Benjamin, my corgi, is also a fluffy one. Now, I never noticed this walking the Samoyeds, Trent, because they got regular sized legs, right? If you have a fluffy corgi, and if you don't know what a fluffy corgi is, Google it, okay? But imagine a corgi, but all of the hair is long. He looks like the world's oddest built miniature collie, if you want to think of it.
Yeah,
one
kind
way.
of. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And when you add a fluffy body, a large coat of long hair, and very small legs, every single walk you take, Trent, you realize my dog is nature's lint roller.
Yep, totally. Yeah.
I have to keep the harness on him. I've got this very nice, it's a very cool harness. We got it actually at StumpyCon, and I was looking at it at CorgiCon because it's almost like a tactical back with a center mount. I could also connect a flashlight to it if I wanted to. But then it just has the clip around the chest this way, so like more the belly side. And then it has an adjustable strap against the top. So it's really taking a lot of the pressure off of the joints while at the same time creating a little bit of pull here to slow him down when I want him to slow down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Give you that directional control. So he's used to being, I don't want to say docile, but, he'll take commands in that. So when I get home now, my walks aren't just 40 minutes. I know I've got to allocate 55 for the whole thing. Because I've then got to bring him in, and regardless of how warm it's been outside, I'm suddenly on the couch with him upside down, and I have to inspect his chest, his stomach, and all 4 legs.
Well, and I can only imagine come this fall, it will be even worse when all the plants start going to seed, and all those little burrs and whatnot just get like stuck in that coat. And if you don't get it out, it's gonna mat up, and then it's eventually gonna get work its way down to the skin, and then it can fester. Like, oh, it's so important. Yeah, like Yep.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
So that's every single morning after I've taken that magic mind shot. Don't forget about that. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening to me talk about how my bougie dog is nature's lint roller. I'm glad I could share that with you. But it is one of those things you get scared about, because if they pick up the wrong thing, especially like a foxtail, those will also burrow right in.
Yes, and they're toxic to dogs too if they eat them.
So please remember to brush your pets. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in to whatever this particular type of madness was this week. Who knows what it'll be next week? We just can't know. But we know we'll do our best to actually be there for you next week. So thank you very much. Until next time, my name is Will.
My name's Trent.
And live long and prosper.
May the force be with you.
Oh, right on, man. We got it.
NetHeads. We'll be back soon.
Goodbye.
This has been a Smodco Internet production. Sip. Only at smodcast.com. He always dances. We cut to him, and there he is dancing. He had no intention on dancing, but we pressed the button, and he danced.
Yeah, it's like dance, monkey, dance.
Yeah.
Ah! Ah!
And don't, please, whatever you do.
Don't ever do that.
No, don't call me dad.